You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devan. That's Melo. Tonight, we got another special guest for you, man. Been on the show before, DUKE Pettijohn. How you doing tonight, Duke?
I'm good, guys. How y'all?
Good, man. Just sitting back and watching this absolute craziness in college football right now with the transfer portal while the playoffs are going on.
Man, it's so crazy. It's like, you know what I liken it to somebody proposing at your wedding.
That's actually really good.
It feels like
yeah.
It's not the time. It's not your time. Like, let's just.
It's a good one.
It's after my wedding, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, we're going to dive into that night a little deeper. We're going to dive into Day had a press conference today. We're going to dive into if we gleaned anything from that today. We're going to talk about the game a little bit more, Ohio State, Tennessee. Melo, how was your day, bro?
Man, it was good. Can't complain. Got good weather out here. It's like reached 69, so got to wash my car, do some yard work and stuff. So
yeah,
I know it's the opposite of what they're experiencing up there in Columbus right now.
Well, I got to tell you this. It was beautiful here in Tallahassee, Florida, till about 10 minutes ago, and it randomly started hailing and storming. I'm soaked right now. I took my shirt off and ran outside to cover my truck with a blanket. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. So surprised my internet's still going. Shout out everybody in the chat. We appreciate you joining us. Like always, man, don't forget to like the show, man. And right now, if you could, if you're listening to me, man, jump on your X account, jump on your Facebook, jump on your Instagram, dude, and share this link, man. Let's get a lot of people in the chat tonight, get this show turned up a little bit, man, because it's playoff time, man. The Buckeyes are in the playoffs, dude, and it's time to get focused and forget about the game that we all want to forget about, that everybody still wants to talk about a little bit, dude. That's football, man.
Y'all still on that?
Hey, dude, Duke, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, man. Yeah,
playoff week, man. That junk should be flushed in.
Oh yeah, we passed it, man. But I'm trying to pull. There's a few stragglers in Buckeye Nation. I'm trying to pull along with me.
Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, Buckeyes, man, they signed an offensive tackle today. Melo, you got more information on him than me, so hit us up with it.
Yeah, Philip Daniels out of Minnesota. He played right tackle. He's a big man. He's definitely needy. He's going to have to fight for his position just like everybody else that comes in here. There's going to be competition. He has what it takes to win that starting spot, but if he doesn't, then that means we have excellent depth behind him, and he has great genetics. You might know his cousin named Paris Johnson, one of the best offensive tackles in Ohio State history, probably after Orlando Pace. Definitely after Orlando Pace.
Yeah.
So I think we're heading in the right direction. It's kind of hard. Like, as hard as we have been on Justin Fry, we do have to admit he's getting beat up offensive line ready to play an elite defensive line right now, and having to recruit and having to retain the rosters that whatever he has in the room, all at the same time. So I kind of feel bad for the coaching staff at this point, but with the portal, you have to have it at this time because kids need to be enrolled into school for second semester, wherever they're going to go, because they are still student athletes. Now, I disagree with the spring portal, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, for sure. The thing I like about this player, man, he's got 3 years of eligibility left, man. So, that's a big deal. But, I kind of want to jump ahead a little bit. Actually, let me just say the last piece of portal news that I wanted to talk about. There was a visit today from another offensive tackle out of Central Connecticut, Ratrell Perry, an FCS offensive tackle. There's a lot of people comparing him to Josh Simmons, man. You know, I've heard that NFL scouts have compared him to that. He's got potential to play in the NFL. He only has a year of eligibility left, though, I do believe. So that would be more like a plug and play left tackle. So we'll see what happens there. So things are rolling along, man. You know, it's the playoffs. Melo just said it. It's really hard right now. We want these Buckeyes to go grab all these offensive tackles and stuff, and a kicker and other people we need, but we got Tennessee, dude, on Saturday, man. So, but I also understand everybody's get back on that is, well, look at Oregon. They're signing all these players in the portal and all that stuff, but
they're on a bye week though.
Yeah,
they got a little more, you know, flexibility with that. Yeah, but I mean, but still, the you know, spring semester is a spring semester, so. Yeah, you know, time is of the essence for everyone. But I would say on those two tackles that you guys just mentioned, one sounds like he had really good pedigree. Two, the other guy sounds like, you know, he's you know, one of those guys that you typically see go to the. You won't see him until he plays in the Senior Bowl, and you're like, oh man, who is this kid that, you know, from Central Connecticut that is, you know, killing guys at the Senior Bowl practice. So it sounds like, you know, they're pretty solid guys.
So the guy from Central Connecticut in 3 years only given up 4 sacks in 3 years, and he started every game. So I mean, it's pretty impressive. And then he could be a Khalil Mack. I remember when we played Buffalo and Khalil Mack was destroying our offensive line, and that was the year they thought we had the best offensive line in college. And I was just sitting there watching, like, how did we not offer this kid? Like, how did you miss on? He was so good. Like, he was next level. I'm like, everybody missed on him because he went to Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, you know, they also had Jared Verse at Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's the thing about it, man. That's the crazy thing about it is you can no longer say, at least for me, I can no longer say, well, that's an FCS guy. They don't play anybody because you have so many examples. I mean, Oregon's right tackle played at Rhode Island last year. And now isn't he like an all
Johnny Cornelius? He's ranked like the third tackle in the country.
Like he's really high up,
second off the draft board.
Yeah, really high up draft prospect. Yeah, played at Rhode Island. So, you know, I still see a lot of people saying that, but it's just like, bro, Josh Simmons came from San Diego State, dude. And he is going to be still the first offensive tackle off the board. And listen to this: some NFL scouts actually rank him higher than Paris Johnson. Or wait.
Who's this?
Paris? Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
Our left tackle this year, the one that got injured in the Oregon game. Yeah, man. They say he's better at run blocking than he was. But you know
I can see that. I wouldn't say pass blocking though. Paris' feet was just elite. He was like a dancing bear.
Yeah.
Well, but you also got to realize with Oregon, they had that Phil Knight money, and Phil Knight is at the end of the leg. He's just writing checks. He doesn't care. You want him? How much is it going to cost? Here you go. So, like, it makes it a little different. The playing field is not really even when it comes to that.
Yeah. But, I mean, still got to coach him up.
Yeah, of course.
Still got to coach him up.
Yeah.
And, you know, with that money comes comfort. If it's not, you know, the culture's not right. You know, if it's, come here, get this money. And, all right, you get there and get comfortable and you get complacent and you start, you know, slacking off. It's hard to, you know, be that, you know, I like it, like, you know, those Kobe cows, you know, they get them and, you know, massaging them and they get all the good stuff. And they're like, oh, I don't need to do this. I don't need to work this hard. I already got my dough, you know.
My question for both of you is still along this line before we move on is my last question. Do you believe that we'll see a lot of these kids in the transfer portal next year?
A lot of white kids.
Like from Riley's class mainly, specifically, and some of the guys that are getting in the portal, do you think they hit the portal after one season? Because I know they made some lofty promises to some of these kids, and some of them I need to see it to believe it.
I mean, look at somebody just entered the portal from Ohio State that we just signed last year, Jaden Bonsu. He's in the portal. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, kids are getting in for different reasons. I can't say that. I know for sure Riley wasn't promised anything.
Right.
You know, it's just, you know, this is, and you know, what is available to you, you know, based on your skill set and your production in high school. You know, you have to take it. You have to take it once you get here. And so I know James isn't promising anybody anything, but you know, kids now, well, all kids, not even just in sports. It's a I want it now type generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on where they're coming from, if they're not getting the attention or the reps that they expected, they gonna, because it's available to them. They're gonna jump in the portal, and that's my biggest thing. With the portal that bothers me, and I wish it's not available until after your second year. I feel like that's when the portal should be available, because there's some things you have to work through, right? There's some adversity. Sometimes there's good adversity, right? That like kids, if you get to the other side, you're gonna be better for it. And that's what I think the portal is messing up. The ability and for coaches having the opportunity to talk them through that situation and help them understand why they are where they are, and what they can do, but you're not doing it. So meet this expectation, and you still have the same opportunity to get on the field, but it's hard to do it when I can just leave.
I love that.
Yeah, go ahead, Def.
I love that point you brought up about, if young kids don't go through anything, it's not going to build them, because that perseverance builds character, man. It develops you. That's a huge drive. I'm just speaking for myself, like being on teams. I always was a younger kid playing a grade up or 2 grades up in basketball, and I was never promised to start, but that's what I wanted. So that's why I stayed after practice and shot 100 threes. That's the only reason why. If they would have said, Devan, you're starting. Nah, man, I'm not staying after practice and wasting my time. But that's the other part of this transfer portal, man, is I think that, for the most part, there's a lot of blessings in the transfer portal, but the curse is that it could potentially hurt a lot of kids' potential and development because of that
100%. And so, and I think it makes it hard for a program to say, we'll develop you, or we did extra. Not really. When you're getting a half-baked cake, you just had to put it in the oven, and like voila. So I mean, and it's not. And it's not their fault, it's just, hey, it's the nature of the business, like right now. So you can't be like, oh no, I'm not going to do that because, I want to, no. And then now you're losing talent, the same way. So it's a tricky situation, but it does need to be reined in. It really does.
Yeah, no doubt.
Duke and Dev, the only reason I asked this, and I wasn't going to throw out a name, but I am, because they already went public with it. So Naeem Offer said one of the biggest reasons he flipped his commitment on signing day is because they promised him a shoe deal, his own personal shoe. But if you look at Nike's history, they've only had 2 DBs that had their own custom shoe. One is Deion Primetime Sanders. The other one is Revis Island, Daryl Revis.
And they were professionals.
Yeah, so to me, it's like I feel like he got sold, and if that was the main reason, I feel bad for him, because I think if he doesn't get that shoe, he's going to be highly disappointed when he could have been developing.
He'll have, I'm sure they can give him, a custom, prototype shoe to, placate them, and then they're in development, and just draw them along, and now. How come nobody else is getting my shoes? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that's a terrible reason to pick a school, in my opinion, because you get the same shoe deal, when you become a pro, and that's when you should want it. You know what I mean? Like earn it, man. Like just earn it. I want a Bentley. I want a, this Scat Pack, whatever in college. Like for what? For what?
What'd you do?
Yeah, what did you do? Right, exactly.
We know what you did. We know what you did in high school, but we're not paying. We're not paying you to play in high school.
Right.
You're in college now. But real fast, Bobby Mack, thanks for the $5, man. He said, question if the Hub podcast is Pod Squad, what should we be on the Buckeye Boys? I mean, that's a good question. We need to reel that in. I put Cujo Mafia on there because in my pet raccoon and whatnot, and Cujo's pretty famous here on the Buckeye Boys. But I'm still open to change it. I'm open for suggestions. So chat. Give us some ideas, man.
B-boys.
What y'all? The what?
B-boys.
The boys?
The B-boys.
The B-boys.
Like break dancers back in the day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, I got to hit on something because Duke, you said you gave the Ohio State fans a pretty big nugget there, and I don't want to switch over that. Coming from a parent that just went through the recruiting process, you said something that made me just feel absolutely fantastic, and you said that Riley was not promised anything. No. And I think that's a huge deal, man, because first off, in my eyes and in the rest of the nation's eyes, Riley Pettijohn is a player of his stature that other players of his stature are going around with demands to schools. And the only schools he'll consider are the schools that will meet his demands, like demands to play the first year or start, or, hey, I want this to, all these demands. And I think that Ohio State fans, we see certain players, we see the David Sanders, we see other players come in and we're missing on them. Well, we don't know if we're missing or if this is what's going on. And Ryan Day and the coaching staff are very selective. We do know this, very selective with who they pick because they want a good culture fit. And if you take a step back and I ask myself, would I rather have a really good culture or all the good players and a not so good culture? I'm picking a good culture, man. Yeah. I'm picking a good culture every single time. So I think that's a huge deal. And
that makes the culture sustainable.
Yeah.
When you have guys that, are there for a, 2-3 years and can, teach that back and, be that example for, like for the next class, and so forth. You keep and you're building those guys. I mean, it's hard when you're bringing in mercenaries and, they can't and they can't buy into, the current. It's hard to integrate them. It really is.
Yeah. And I mean, the brotherhood is real at Ohio State. How do you maintain that if you don't have good culture, good character? And if you look at the NFL players, you can see it every game. They're always linking up. They come back and meet up during the off season. So, I mean, it's a real thing. I'm not saying no other programs do it, but I don't really see them doing it like Ohio State does it. And I could be wrong, but I think culture is a big thing because at the end of the day, that's what has been sustaining Ohio State to be so successful and being the winningest program in the past 25 years in all of college football. So
and on that note, Melo, like I know there's recruiting rankings. I know Tavian St. Clair is the highest recruit and so on and so forth. But let's be honest about it. You got Tavian, you got other. Riley is in that elite group and Duke, this is not because just you're here, bro. This is just reality, man. Riley is in that part of those elites. In my eyes, there's not hey, this is our best recruit. No, there's a group of 10 or 5 that are all equal in my eyes. They're elite, meaning they could be on the field next year, depending on what they do. So if Riley's not getting promises, then I would bet a lot of money that there's not a single player in this recruit that has got promised anything other than an opportunity, right?
Yeah, and that's all should be promised. That's it. A level field to compete and regardless of class, freshman. That's all all we ask. Where you're like, oh, I have this senior. He's been here this long, so you gotta wait behind him. Like, no, if this guy that comes in and he's like better than him, grasp the offense or defense just as well, but has a higher a better skill set that's going to make the team successful. Promise me that opportunity is and so those are the things that that we have, because there's times where that can hurt a team where you're like, I understand the loyalty part, but if this is a better player for our defense, like right now, I want a guy that who is a senior to be like, I see that, I'll help mentor him along, and that's what I felt in that linebacker room, when we were on those visits.
Yeah, and that's awesome to hear. But shout out to Asian Posh Doreen. She said, "Hey Devan Melo, hey Duke Pettijohn, Merry Christmas. Love Tamika Hannah, my favorite Lady Buckeye. Mika breathes Bucks. Will cheer for both of us." She definitely does, man. She knows pretty much every player in the state of Ohio. It's crazy.
We love Mika too.
Yeah, Duke. We had her name's Mika. She comes in our chats all the time. She's in a lot of chats. She loved the Buckeyes, man. She came on the show one time to talk about some recruits. And I was blown away because she's sitting here talking about their footwork and like using like football language. She dives deep into these
PhD.
I'm serious.
I love that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love that.
She's bringing up players I've never heard of, and then I'm pulling up their tape, like players that Ohio State might offer, but really isn't on the national scene. And it was really cool. It's really cool. So shout out Mika, no doubt. Thank you for that, Dareem. We're on this subject, so I want to keep it going because Ryan Day got asked today about his strategy with the team, and I thought this answer, I honestly never thought of it like this, but everybody calls the portal free agency, right? Just like the NFL. Now, what I've never done is I never took that thought the next step, meaning if college football is looking more and more like the NFL, then is it smarter to sign kids out of high school or go in the portal and snag kids? And Ryan Day brought it up, like he gave the example of I can't remember what a first-time player in the NFL rookie contracts. That was wild. Rookie contracts, how much lower they are compared to guys' second contracts. I know it's dependent on the position group, right, and the player, but specifically offensive line. Are we there with that? Do we think it might be a little bit smarter to go out and wait for the offensive line in the transfer portal? Or just like we did with the Minnesota offensive tackle. We've got 3 years of eligibility left. But I thought that was a really good example to use, and it's very intriguing to think about recruiting in that way because, we got tape of this guy. He's actually from Ohio, the offensive tackle from Minnesota. He camped at Ohio State and everything, but at that time, Ohio State didn't offer him because they didn't see. Well, now they see. They have tape him playing big-time football. Now they go offer him. It's less of a risk. Do you see what I mean? So I want your guys' thoughts on that processing.
I can see, where he's coming from with that because, like some guys, you may have an eye on that, you see something there which you're not quite sure, and knowing that you have this portal of, available to you, I'm gonna let him go and let's see if, he becomes what I think he can become, and then I'll make a run back at him if he's available, right? But I also think that's a slippery slope, right? Because then, kind of stuff like what's happening now, it's gonna happen to you too. Right. I'm gonna circle back to a guy that I was recruiting, and that's a lot of what's going on right now behind the scenes. Coaches reaching back out to kids who they may have passed on because they weren't, confident that they could, contribute right away. But now, where my team is, I need to shore up. I need some experience on, at a particular position. I'm gonna go back and get this guy. So that's the playing field that's available to everybody. So you have to play that game. So I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
For me, I think you still have to build through high school. Like that needs to be your baseline period. And then you plug and play with the portal, in my opinion, because the portal is going to be more expensive. It might disrupt the room. And especially, it works. Obviously, you saw that Deion flipped his whole roster at Colorado and turned it around. But at a place like Ohio State, you don't need to do that when you get the elite kid. You're in on every elite kid that you want. Right. You just need to do a good job recruiting, prove that you develop, prove that you send people to the league because these kids want to play professionally. Most of them, not all of them. There's some that probably just really don't want to play even if they could. But most of them want to play professionally. Use the blueprint, prove that it works. Then if you miss on a kid here or there or somebody leaves early that you weren't planning on because you had a whole game plan for them, then you go and plug and play for that position. That's one of the reasons I think our offensive line recruiting out of high school has been down. And I don't know where it started or why, because we used to always have elite linemen. Even when Paris left, that O-line was elite. You saw Georgia, they got pressure on C.J. Stroud, but they only had 2 sacks the whole game. Yeah. And that was a disrupted defensive line. So for me, it's always going to be high school first, and then plug and play with the portal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other part of that is also this is where the fan base comes in, is understanding that development takes time and patience, right? So if you understand, like what they're, like what they're doing, I know we have, this 5-star at tackle that we're going to bring along, and understanding that and not being so impatient, like, oh, we just got a 5-star, why isn't he playing? Like, no, some positions take a little longer to develop and get acclimated to, to the game, and some can't just jump right in. But I agree 100% with you that you have to build through high school.
That's what's so wild about that, though, Duke, is because it's becoming more of a pattern that these 5-star recruits, one of their demands is to play as a freshman. You know what I mean? That's just becoming more and more of a thing, and it's getting kind of wild. But I totally agree. The foundation, and Day hit on this in his press conference, the foundation of your team has to come out of high school. You know what I mean? I think it's just becoming harder and harder to find those kids that culturally fit into your school, especially if you're not going to make any promises, if you're not going to overpay, and if you're not going to deal with, any drama in this, and what's going on. And that happens a lot, man. Duke, I got a question for you, man. I wanted to know, because you hear a lot about this portal and also recruiting, but it's portal season now. So let's talk about portal. And you hear about these agents, or the new term is mentors, right? And the mentors a lot of the times are a family member, an uncle, a dad, or something like that. How much pressure do you know, no names or anything, but do you know of instances where a kid wanted to go to a certain school, but his mentor made him go somewhere else for the money?
I don't know any firsthand instances, but I did just hear it was a dad. I think he went to Alabama, and he was interviewed, and then he transferred, and he was interviewed, and he regretted pushing that on his son. I mean, I guess it might have been his dream school, and he really wanted his son to go, to go there. And he went there and got lost in the sauce and ended up going somewhere else. I think he may have transferred to LSU, and so he regretted it. And that, I was like, exactly. You have these hanger-ons and family members who just see the dollars.
Oh yeah,
right, and not the process. Right. And then there's places whose process is the better fit for your kid.
Yeah.
And understanding, like, hey, look, he has 4 or 5 years to play. So the opportunity is still there, whether he plays his freshman year or not. He still has an opportunity. And if he doesn't play his freshman year, I have an understanding, of the game. It may, and I'm having, honest conversations with my kid. Okay, look, it's not the coach that doesn't like you, but if you're not where you're supposed to be in a particular play, then he can't trust you. So get back in the books and earn your way back. You know what I mean? Because he has a job. And if you're not doing your job, he may lose his. So you have to understand the pressure that he has on. So knowing that, I can share that, with Riley, but parents who, don't understand that, or just, enamored by, all the money that's available to their kid, early on in college, they're making and giving bad advice. And that needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah, and to go back to your previous point, right before you talked about this, you will miss on 5-stars that want the money first at Ohio State, because that's not what the coaching staff is looking for, and that's why they maintain this culture that they have. Yeah. And that's okay. Because if you would have hit those 5 stars, say you promised them a whole bunch of money, then guess what? That whole room, people that are already proven, you have to pay them more than that.
Exactly.
It becomes an issue. You won't be able to maintain your roster.
You won't.
And you won't be able to maintain that culture. And that kid might transfer the next year because obviously he's looking for the cash.
Right.
And if he's having an elite season, then guess what? Somebody in Miami or Oregon or Texas, if they're desperate, they'll come and offer him like 7-8 mil. And then what if you don't have that money for him because there's somebody outperforming him in that room at the same position?
Yeah.
Then you have to pay them more than that. So like it's a slippery slope. And yes, us as fans, because we love the recruiting game, this is how me and Devan ended up doing this show because we love recruiting so much and the high school scene and following these kids from being kids to going to the league and their whole career. And at the end of the day, you get upset. You're like, man, how we miss on that kid? But at the end of the day, the right kids with the right fit come to this school.
And what's the saying is the same way you got them, it can be the same way you lose them.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the emphasis, and I mean, and don't get me wrong, I get it. It's life-changing money, right? That some of these kids are coming into, but if you're seeing it that way, you're going to put it away for it to be life-changing money, right? So you literally you can set them up for the rest of their life, and they can just be kids and just play football, and figure out what they want to do, like knowing that I have my future taken care of.
Yeah. Duke, hit on that point that you brought up earlier about these promises that are being made. And that's what I was talking about with the portal, and even the way recruiting is now can hurt development of kids, because if you make promises and you keep that promise and you're playing an underdeveloped kid, then you're building you're letting them build a false self-confidence. You're playing a kid that's not ready, and he thinks in his head, hey, I'm doing everything I need to do, right? I'm on the field, so apparently I'm working hard enough, I'm studying hard enough, I'm in the film room enough, I'm doing all this enough, when the truth is, hey, if we didn't make you those promises, if you weren't a 5-star, you wouldn't be on the field right now because you're not ready, because you're not putting in the effort, you're not doing what you need to do. And, so it goes both ways. And that's why I hope something changes, man, because unfortunately, Duke, not all parents are like you and the Sanchez's, and you see examples all day long of these kids coming out of high school with the potential, right, to make life-changing money, but they take that bag up front and then they dwindle out and you never hear from them again, man. You know what I mean? Because the truth is that if you are that good and you have that much potential, the money will take care of itself,
100%.
right? You just got to stay completely out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, stay all the way out of the way. Don't let money. Like, for instance, J.J. Smith. I'm sure J.J. Smith signed a nil deal, and the foundation is paying him a certain amount. I would be surprised if he's making more money off of things that have come to him because of his play on the field than he is what the foundation is paying him. Does that make sense?
That's typically how it works. I mean, and that's what's available to him. Right. So to where you don't have to, be like, oh, I need all this like right now. No, just, you have opportunity. If you believe in yourself and you're as good as you think you are, and the coaches are as good, think you are, then you go in there and prove it. And that people are going to want to be a part of that. They're going to want you to, rep their brand because they know all the eyes are on you. And that's exactly what happens. It never changes. Right.
I wanted to read this comment from Buck Vader, 1977. Dev, I watched some film of Duke. I know where Riley got his trigger from.
Hey, dude, I've been watching Riley, or I think his trainer has been posting some videos of Riley training. Good Lord, bro. Good Lord, dude. Yeah, I was watching him do those. He had bands attached to him, and I don't know what was attached to the bands, a sled or something.
Oh, yeah, I think it's like a resistant cord, Yeah.
Explosive, man. That's freaking, that's explosive. So that's the kind of stuff right there, right, that gets you that money, man. It's not the how much can you get up front and all that stuff. It's that desire. I don't know, man.
It's a mess, and I really hate when legislators want to come in and say, oh, we need to do X, Y, and Z. I kind of feel like something needs to be done, but it needs to be not them, just like people in the game, like a board of a board of parents, former players, coaches, that sit down and come up with a plan on how to reel some of this stuff in, because like to your point, like about like the agents and stuff, they don't need an agent.
Yeah,
agents are not needed right now.
No,
they aren't needed, because all the things as far as like NIL deals and outside of the collective stuff, they have people at these programs that guide you like to that. It's already baked in. Like if you're listening, right? So you're gonna give this person. The marketing deal I hear are like ridiculous. You're like 10-15% for something that you're already getting anyways.
Yeah.
You don't have to negotiate. There's no negotiation. This is, it's kind of like the like the first round picks. They are, those are already slotted.
Yeah.
So like, what are you doing? And a lot of people, to say, oh, my kid has an agent and we work with this, agency. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, not needed, but they aren't right now.
You know what? I think what it is there's a lot of naivety and with these recruits and some of the parents that just don't know. And I feel like a lot of these agents are taking advantage of that. And what parent isn't going to want the best for their child? Like, that's just natural, unless you're just a bad human. So at the end of the day, they're listening to people because they don't know and they don't have that information. They don't know how to search and seek it out for themselves.
Yeah, or they're like, they're like, they don't want people to know that they don't know.
Yeah,
they just go like, yes, and along with it, and it may not be good for you. So like to your point, like education for parents, like even parents who think are on top of this stuff. They need to, like everybody needs, like basic education on, recruiting and, what's needed and what's not.
Yeah. That I wonder if there's because I know when I was younger, my pride was it was so stupid, bro. It was ridiculous. So I wonder if there's a little bit of pride in that decision too, to be a good player and be like, yeah, man, I got an agent. You know what I mean? Because you watch the NFL and they got agents. So, it's a big deal, man. You're in high school walking around the hallways, bro, and you tell your buddies, man, I got an agent trying to hook me up. I mean, it's a big prideful thing.
Yeah, but it's cooler when you like, the agent's my dad and I ain't got to pay him anything.
Hell yeah. Or, hey, my dad played in the NFL. He knows what he's doing. Bingo.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not saying we don't know, and like we don't know everything, but we know, we have a circle of people that we can reach out to, and bounce things off of, and have them like look at things, and there are a lot of people like out there that are would do that if you just seek it.
Yeah, who Ohio State uses a lot, and it's Monica Johnson. That's not her. What's
Monica
her last name
Daniels now?
Monica Daniels. She's showing up all the time for these recruits, and I think that's
she actually just had dinner with Mike. When he went down.
Really? Heck yeah, dude. I think that's a great idea. You know what I mean? So like the school can pick like a group of parents, or parents can sign up to be on this board, and anybody that's interested in Ohio State, they can call those parents, and these parents can walk the people that are interested through the process for free.
So Duke, I had a question for you. This is off topic. So it just hit me just now when you were just talking. So like, how Monica is like an advocate as a parent for incoming recruits and for Ohio State in general. Is that something you could see, like maybe your family, and I will ask Sanchez is this as well, because I feel like you guys have that same vibe and energy. Would that be something you guys would be willing to do? in the future as well, and like start like almost like a parenthood, like how the team has the brotherhood, a parenthood for the parents,
absolutely,
and do something like that, because I think that would be something cool that hasn't been done yet besides outside of Monica.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool for you guys to start something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna like, you know, I was just telling my buddy here, like our church on Sunday, you know, our pastor was just talking about, you know, campuses that we're opening, and they're all going to serve a specific purpose. And like one of the campuses is going to be like they got like sports leagues and, you know, and stuff like that. And I just like popped them. I would love to you know, talk, you know, I want to like talk to him and get you know, design like a program for parents of kids that are being recruited to come in, and you do like a little, you know, workshop or seminar, you know, and talk to them, you know, about the process, what to look for and stuff like that. Because I see it's needed. It's very much needed. And I think in knowing that and empowering and educating parents will help them be able to better navigate, you know, all the stuff that's going on, and, you know, like better, you know, guide their kids when they're trying to transfer or, you know, wanting to, you know, make a rash decision. And, you know, and a lot of times, you know, they put their kids on a pedestal, right? And they don't want their kid to be mad at them or what have you. So they let them do things that aren't, you know, in their best interest. And, you know, kind of let them leave instead of, you know, like parenting them and guiding them and having talking them through, you know, like what they're thinking. Yeah. You know, and so in helping parent, you know, empowering parents to, you know, to do that, be the parent.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome thing. Yo,
shout out. I would love to do that. And I know my wife too. She would be all over that.
We're not done with that topic. More in just a second. But first, shout out Donald and Karen Roshback, $20 holler, man. Appreciate you. Hello, Buckeye Nation. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Duke, thank you for being here. Go Bucks, beat Tennessee. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Donald, for sure. Donald's awesome. But he's one of the select few that I text during a game because I get wild during a game. Man, so
we all need that person.
Yeah.
We all need that person. Did you see
that? Duke, me and Melo have talked several times about like trying to get like a parent YouTube channel together along the same lines of that, where you guys can come on here, give your opinions on certain things, walk through certain situations you see with certain players in the transfer portal doing this. And that could also be a learning avenue for parents to come on here and get in the chat and chat back and forth and talk back and forth. So, bro, this streaming thing, that's I would be very curious.
Different doors to educate people, and
it does,
or at least, you know, get, you know, what you have, you know, on your mind, you know, out there, you know, there. I mean, some people don't ask, you know, they may have, you know, something they want to ask and don't know how to ask it, or.
And you can hide behind a screen name and ask it so people don't know that you don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah. It's like the kid when you're in first grade, you don't want to raise your hands, but you're like, I don't really know the answer, but I don't want them to laugh at me and be like, that kid's dumb.
I really hope somebody else raises their hand. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what I mean by that, Duke, is we want you here on the Buckeye Boys to start a channel with other parents and start doing it. See if you like it, bro. See if you like it. I do. We'll give Daniel Sanchez a call, man, and see what he.
Yeah.
But he ain't gonna come on. If me and Melo keep talking bad about Fry, he probably won't come on here, man. We got to stop talking bad about Coach Fry, dude, for sure.
Nah, he'll come along, man.
Yeah, I know.
Where was Fry prior to him?
UCLA.
And then before that,
Boston College.
Okay. So that's where. So he was at Boston College with my with Steve Adazio. That's who recruited me to Syracuse.
Okay, yeah.
So he was O-line coach at Florida with Dan Mullen, and he was at Temple and at A&M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he is a good mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all actually, that whole little pod of coaches all.
Yeah,
like Dave, Chip, Fry, Zach Smith.
Yep. All New England.
They all like were together for a while.
Yeah, they're all New England guys. Yeah, Chester, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. Yeah.
And coaching trees, they get wild, dude. It's cool. It's cool to dive into those sometimes and see where people have been and stuff like that. But all right, you guys got any final thoughts on this transfer portal? And then we're gonna dig into the Tennessee game a little bit. I wanna touch on something I heard today. Any more thoughts on the transfer portal? Duke, you got anything else you want to talk about regarding the transfer portal?
Just I need some changes. I need some changes for the betterment of the game, keeping it pure, and so kids can actually be developed.
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah,
no doubt. Melo?
No, I'm done with the transfer portal. I agree with everything Duke said. I think he covered everything. So, yep. I think we'll be fine.
I pray that something is done, but I pray something is done by the right people, like Duke hit on earlier. I don't think somebody sitting in a courtroom somewhere can make a decision on this. I think it needs to be a collective of people that this is their life, man. And better yet, they've been through it. They've been through the process, man. I think those people come up with the best plans and stuff. But Melo, you want to read that?
Yep. Shout out Speedman606 for the $9.99. Hey, Duke, can't wait to see Riley kick butt at the shoe. My question is, with so many underclassmen not getting in to play even mop-up duty, how will or would you advise your boy on his future at OSU?
Oh, that's easy because I went through it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have me to guide me through it, but I also know what, like I stated earlier, what can happen on the other side, right? If you're not even getting in mop-up duty, all right, there's an opportunity for me to sit down with my coach and ask him about what do I need to do in order to get in at this time, right? If that's my lot in the game, right, or on the team, and that usually revolves around like trust. If you're not getting in at that time, you had to have too many busts during the week for him to put you in the game. So it may be a lesson that's happening at that time, right? It may be like, it's a perfect time for you to go in, but I specifically asked you to, study up on this. We, in team period, that situation came up and you blew it. Yeah. Right. Or you were late for you missed you missed something. So I would have to know like what did you do?
Yeah.
To prepare for this game. And if everything lines up, then I'm going to encourage you, because I'm not going to do it, to go talk to your coach, about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if it keeps happening, then, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Right. That opens up a question I want to ask you, Duke. It's kind of a sensitive question, so you don't got to get into it if you don't want to. But what Speedman is alluding to is in Buckeye Nation right now, we're pretty upset. We get upset a lot, right? But the only thing we're upset about on the defensive side of the ball is the rotation specifically on the defensive line, right? For example, the Oregon game, our defensive tackles played 53 snaps. The Scum game, they played 53 snaps. These are 340-pound men. So being somebody that's played on the defensive line and that's done it through every level, what's your thoughts on that, man? There's a lot of speculation that coaches don't trust the people behind them or something like that. But do you have anything to say to that, like to Buckeye Nation that have those concerns?
It's so many different like situations that cause that, right? I mean, so it can be like when I was playing, like we were smaller and like speed rushers. So we conditioned like crazy. So we didn't like coming off. We didn't like coming off the field. And then it depends on the DC's like package structure. Right. And for a particular game, it may be, all right, we need to have these heavies up here. Mm-hmm. And now it's on on that position coach to, watch and determine who's, who needs a blow. But they want to keep the guys that they trust, out there. And a lot of times it comes down to just trust. Yeah. I trust him tired more than I do you fresh. In this situation, I mean, it sounds crazy, but that happens.
Yeah, but in terms of the results, when we rotate more, we've been winning and performing better. And in the 2 games we didn't rotate as much, we end up losing. And it was close games until the 4th, and we end up losing at the end of the 4th. And it feels like the defensive line, especially in particular, are getting tired playing 53 out of 58 snaps. That's a lot of snaps.
It is. No, I agree. And if it's not the example that I just gave, then
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It needs to be.
So what you're saying is the only acceptable reason to do that, to play a defensive tackle 53 snaps, is because specifically you do not trust the person that can come in and replace them.
I mean, that's how I would. That's how I would think it.
Yeah. And that's the problem. That's what us, Buckeye Nation. That's the overall thought, is that's what it is. But
there's
a big but.
It's on you as a coach to make him ready.
Correct. Bingo.
to make him ready, because you see the importance of having fresh bodies and the results of it. So then that falls on too. And I mean, if you're being honest, like some coaches are like get stuck in their ways, and they're to like I said earlier, they just have this way. They just always just trust in my seniors. I just trusted my my old guy. And just can't get past that.
And
but then this is my thing though. So like Penn State, dad came back in on that goal line stance at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think he seems to be the best run stopping defensive lineman, but he doesn't play that many snaps. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we have enough highly elite 4 and 5 stars that have been developing, because when they get in the game, they're performing.
Yeah.
You could rotate them. You don't have to play them at the crunch hours, the crunch minutes and plays. But if your starters are fresh at that time, then they're going to perform and do what they did from the first snap. Right. And that's why I'm having confusion. Why are we doing that? We didn't learn the lesson from Oregon, and we're going to repeat it again. It just to me, it didn't make sense. I don't have the answers. We're all speculating because we're not in the room or the facility. Right. But to me, I just can't think of logically how it makes sense when you see the actual results.
I wish we could be a fly on the wall, because Duke, when you were speaking earlier, you gave several examples of what can be happening. The truth is, us as Buckeye Nation, we don't see practice. We don't see if kids are being late to things or whatever. Yeah. We speculate, right? And that's all this conversation is on our front. But the problem with it is if you go down that list of excuses you made, man, well, not all 5 people that you have on the team are all doing that. Saying so. Yeah.
And it sounds like it's happening in bigger games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And, I gotta go with these guys because no, I'm not even saying that is not necessarily the case either. It's just that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But the evidence of when you are making, having a rotation and they're holding up, then the opposite is true, right?
Yeah.
Now you have guys that are giving your dudes that you trust a blow, so they can go in and do the things that that they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that makes more sense to do than not rotating. And you have to have a rotation.
Yeah. There's no doubt.
You really do, especially on the D line. You get double teamed, and there's only so many double teams you can defeat.
Well, the feeling, luckily for Buckeye Nation, the feeling I get after listening to all the coaches this week talk and Jim Knowles and stuff is that a lot of things are going to change for this game. One of them being the rotations on the defensive line. We know Tennessee plays tempo. They're all about tempo, man.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So, because of that, Jim Knowles spoke about how important rotations are going to be. And also, same goes for on the offensive side of the ball, man. It just seems like, I heard today from somebody inside the Woody that, Coach Day and all the offensive coaches, they're all laughing, they're all smiling, they got a freer vibe to them.
That's good.
Than normal. Yeah, so that builds my confidence that we're going to see a more open, relaxed, loose game plan. And being a Buckeye fan, I've watched Ryan Day coach, and Melo and all of us have. At times we feel like he's gotten tight with his coaching when he gets in situations that he is nervous or thinks, oh gosh, I don't want this to go wrong. And he tightens up and doesn't rotate and doesn't call the best game, doesn't allow players to play free. I'm getting the exact opposite for this game. So I want to dive into the Tennessee game a little bit, and that's where I wanted to start. I wanted to start that I feel like Chip Kelly and the offensive side of the ball, they're going to come out swinging, man. Will Howard spoke and said that could be his last game. A lot of these players, they're going to leave everything on the field. Well, the same goes for the coaches. This could be the last game of the year, right? So Chip Kelly's not going to leave a play call in the bag for a later game because this is a must-win. You lose this game, boom, it's over with, man. So specifically on the offensive side of the ball, what are we looking to see from the Buckeyes?
Let's read this super chat real quick, and then we'll dive in. Speedman 606, thanks for the $1.99. Thanks for coming on tonight, Duke. Merry Christmas to all.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you too, man.
All right. You're saying what do we expect to see on the offensive side of the ball?
Yep.
I think they're going to be throwing the rock. I think they're going to be loose. I think honestly, I think we're seeing UGA, Ohio State. I think the cover skills of Tennessee is their weak point. Their strength is on the defensive line. Our strength is on the outside with our wide receivers. I don't believe the linebackers could cover our running backs if they go out in the flat or run a route. I believe they have one elite cornerback, and you're going to have to pick who you're going to guard. The other two are going to have mismatches. Our other two wide receivers are going to have mismatches. It doesn't matter who you put on. And I don't think there's a corner in the world that could cover Optimus Prime one-on-one. And they like to do a lot of press man coverage. Now, I'm interested to see if they're going to switch it up and do more zone this game because, if you're going to leave your corners on the island with our wide receivers, that's not a good look, to be honest. But one thing I did notice diving into Tennessee's roster is they have a lot of length at the DB position. Doesn't mean their hips are fluid or anything. I just looked at the length. They have two DBs that are 6'3" and about 205. The rest are over 6 feet. But they're about between 175 and 185 average. And then they have one that's 5'11", Boo Carter, and he's a freshman. He's their starting nickel. I guess that's what you would call him. And I don't see any way that he could cover a Mecca one-on-one. So to me, I think they're going to open it up in they're going to use the passing to open up the run game.
That would be smart. Like to come out and just spread them out and go tempo.
Yep.
And stay on them. Make that freshman nickel have to cover, one of our best receivers, and get the running backs on their linebackers.
Yeah.
And that's going to really open up the run.
Yeah.
Yeah, their linebackers are a weak part of their defense as well. I think they're dealing with a lot of injuries and stuff. So, use our running backs in the passing game, obviously in the running game as well. But, I love that concept. Duke, I hear a lot of people that are always drilling the run the ball, so you can pass the ball. And I've always wondered in my head, like, for instance, I hate bringing this up, but when I watched the Scum game, I personally would have thought that we would have used the passing game to open up the run game. But when I bring that up to a lot of people, they say that's a no-go. They say you've got to be able to run the ball. And I'm like,
You do?
why can't you be patient and pass the ball first, spread the defense out, and that'll open up the running lane. So what's your thoughts about that?
It's a mix of both. I mean, you can. All right, so I felt like they could have done that, but they kept running inside, and they needed to get to the outside. You need to get off tackle, some like tosses, like quick, get on the edge, and now you're going to tire off that D line because now they have to turn and run. Like right now, like out of there, now I'm calling. I got to get off this, and now I got to like run this down. Like it makes them move, right? And now you can come back to that inside run. Right, and now they're loading up the box to stop the run. Now we can pass. So yeah, you can't. It's both are true. It just depends on you. You can use the run to open up the pass, but it depends. You can't just I'm running here and that's what we're going to do, and we can't establish. Now I'm behind the sticks. Now I have to pass, and it's obvious. And now they can just pin their hairs back, and now they're great pass rushers.
Yeah, gotta take a quick second, man. I've been I've failed in letting people know, man, get to our website, dude. Is it just BuckeyeBoys.com? I haven't been on it for so long.
I'm about to throw it up here.
Is it the Buckeye Boys? Anyway, I've been instructed by our IT, Curse Designs. Get on there on our website. You can order different shirt designs, Curse designs for Buckeye Boys, man. He's a Buckeye Boys. So get on there, man. Check out the designs. If you want to order any shirts or anything from us, just shoot us an email, man. We'll get you hooked up for sure. So we appreciate you. But
also, Duke, one of our other Buckeye boys, Sean Schrock, had a question for you. He's a big fan of Jim Brown, and he said, since you went to Syracuse, have you ever got to meet the GOAT?
Yes, I have. I met him when they unveiled his bust, and man, his head was about as big as that bust. Yeah, the biggest heads I've ever seen, man. I mean, you can see him. This dude's just a big, solid, strong dude, man. Like,
could you imagine tackling that dude?
Man, it would have been a problem. Yeah, I mean, dude was special. I mean, football wasn't even his best sport. Lacrosse was.
I know, it's just crazy, right?
Yeah, that dude. I'll say okay, and I'm not catching that thing.
Hey, Duke, on a little bit of a side note, but not really. Can you give us your opinion on JT and Jack Sawyer and the defensive line scheme that you see from Ohio State? I don't know if you've broken it down or watched it enough, but can you just tell us your thoughts on what you think about the scheme that we run on the defensive line and our defensive ends, Jack Sawyer, JT, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry? Mm-hmm. I don't know how much you've watched, but
I watched them a bit. I mean, because that's the position I played. My eyes always grabbed to those guys. So I'll say like JT and they're both really good. Yeah. And like how I always see in the like speed rushers for, like speed off the edge. I think they're going to be awesome pros. They're gonna be like great pros, but I'm more they're Big Ten ends, like defensive ends. And
so what does that mean?
So they're the big prototypical 4-3 defensive ends.
Run stop.
Yeah, like run stop and JT has and I'm sorry they have flashes of they can rush the passer, but I don't think they're the speed guys that are going to give you consistent, pressure off the edge. Yeah. With, just a bag of pass rush moves. They're great. They're solid. They're like, I think any team that drafts them, like I see them like excelling in like the Patriots scheme.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where else? With the Ravens. They're those big 3-4 ends. I don't know if they create a lot of pressure, but 97.
Yeah.
he can go.
Yeah.
He can go. And I think there's another, I don't know his number. He hit the speed.
Caden Curry.
Those are the guys that,
the speed rushers.
That are going to give you that, give you that pressure. And, but big enough to play the run as well.
Yeah.
But again, it will come back to that rotation to make sure you're giving them the spell. So you're getting that speed that on third down.
Yeah.
Late in the game, I need a sack, or I need a pressure, I need to affect this play without having the blitz. You want I know if I'm a DC, I want those type of guys that I don't necessarily have to, draw up a blitz to get pressure. I know I got these guys, they're gonna get pressure.
Yeah. So my question to that, we had a they call it the speed rush package, but they were taking Kenyatta and Caden Curry and putting them in the D tackle spots. And they're more lean than Jack and JT, and they had Jack and JT on the outside. And I'm just sitting here. Yeah. One game it made sense because they were having them loop around, so then they ended up on the outside anyway. But for the most part, whenever they use it, they have them playing straight defensive tackle position. Like, what's your thoughts on using them?
Why?
It depends, right? Because like for me, I was different. That was fun. Like if. They put me down there. I'm like, okay, I'm about to kill this dude. Yeah. But it would never be for a long amount of time. So I'm either there and we're gonna run a stunt where we come back out. So it makes sense. But you can't do that too many times to where it's obvious they're gonna stay there. But if it's a regular speed package, I'm gonna have them on outside, and then I'll have JT. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense to flip that. Have JT and Sawyer at the tackles, and now you can do whatever. What you can do.
We're going down a trail here, but I love it because I got another question for you, man. Speaking of rotations, there's a lot of people that say when Kenyatta Jackson gets in, for example, that they don't see much out of him. My response to that is that he's never in long enough to get in a rhythm of the game. He's never in long enough to understand, to get a feel for the offensive tackle that he's going up against or the offensive line or anything. So you playing that position, walk us through that, man. How long did it take how many plays did it take for you to get in the rhythm? And if a coach puts you in for one play and then you sit out for 10 plays and you go back in for one play, and then you sit out for 10 plays and you go back in for one, is that really utilizing you? I mean, are you expected to go in and just make a play? I mean, walk us through that, man.
It's all of that. It's all of that. And I've seen success in it and out of it. And it's a mindset. So there's a kid that's from here. He played at Duncanville, that's in Texas.
Yeah.
And that was his role this year. And that dude was unbelievable. And it flashed because the example that that I say to my my son and my nephews is like, look, don't count the reps, maximize the opportunity.
Yeah.
Maximize the opportunity, right? Whatever you get out there and make an impact however you can.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's bull rush, I'm gonna sit down, but it's also so you have to understand and maybe involved in the game, not sulking on the bench like, oh dang, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. So now I can't visually or visualize what I would do in a situation because I'm pouting about the opportunities that I'm not getting. Now when I do get it, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I feel like, oh, this isn't the one for me. I'm just gonna, it's a run for you, put me in for that.
But for the most part, would you say that you're better utilizing your backups if you leave them in for 2 or 3 plays at a time, or a series at a time? Is that?
I agree. I agree with what you said. It is hard to get into a rhythm if you're all right. So you're putting me into to pass rush, right? It's third down, and now I'm in. It's hard to get in the rhythm. Like, so you put me in the pass rush and they're in 3-step. you're not going to see anything out of me. You're going to see me get off, and now I'm going to run to the ball. So, like both are true, right?
Yeah.
But and like I said, I've seen kids who took advantage of that situation.
That one snap, yeah.
Because this might, but then that builds, and now it even forces the DC to change his approach to the next game, because I got to get this kid more snaps.
Yeah.
So, and that's a game like that, that's played like with coaches, man, that they teach lessons through that. I didn't learn this until like as an adult, where I'm thinking like, this coach hates me, he ain't giving me a chance. And here I am just like looking up, seeing who's in the stands, and like, dude, get it again. And then I'm like, oh shoot. You know what I mean?
Who's winning? What's the score?
Right. So it's just being ready, man. And it's easier to say that than do, but you have to be ready for that opportunity.
Yeah, I think though is 97 for sure. When he's gotten in the game, he's been putting in work. So people that are saying like they don't see it, you're not watching the same game.
I've seen it in practice, man. That dude got bit. Like I told you, he reminds me of Simeon Rice, man.
Yeah,
like given a chance, I think he can go.
Yeah. In the same sense as a defensive end, if you're sitting on the sideline watching the game, isn't there some things you can still learn, like tendencies from offensive lines, tendencies of a quarterback? Which way does he prefer to roll? What's his move when he gets pressure?
Yep.
So like you said, if you're in the game, you get that one stamp, that one chance. If you've been paying attention, you'll know as much as you can know and increase your chances of making a play.
Yeah, and at least paying attention to the situation that I know I'm going to be subbed in to. So watching that situation, first quarter, third quarter, asking, the guys that are in front of you, hey, what's he doing, on this now? Is he jump setting you? Is he kicking? Is he more Army guy? Just stuff like staying engaged like that. And that keeps your mind off of like what you're not getting. And you feel like, and then, again, that's easy to say as as an adult now, not on the bench, knowing that I'll probably be the same way, when I was playing.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you have somebody that can deliver it, like pull them to the side and and it's just constantly, like they're keeping them engaged, keeping them, focused on, what he does have, then it makes it a little easier. But if you're just off and feeling sorry for yourself, then you're just going to lean more into that. So
no doubt.
It's tough. It's tough, and I'm not saying that it's fair at all. But sometimes it is.
Well, that's another good lesson to learn. Life's not fair, man.
For sure.
Hey, shout out, we got 2 new members, man. Donald, appreciate you joining.
John?
John, we appreciate you joining as well, man, dude. We're getting a lot of members here in Cujo Mafia, dude. We're going to have to start doing some outings. Yes,
I like the BBZ Mafia.
Oh, yeah, BBZ Mafia. Yeah,
Buckeye Boys Mafia.
Well, hey, man, this has been a unexpected but very fun show for me. I learned a lot from you, Duke. I appreciate the heck out of you. We're always talking about this stuff. And we're always insinuating and thinking and guessing, but we've never played the game. So it's like, how much can we really insinuate? How much can we really speculate? So you answered a lot. I love, your answers tonight. You gave me a lot of knowledge on the game, and now I can just take my speculation to the next level now that I know those things. But, man, we've been on here for over an hour, so we didn't get into the Tennessee game much, but I do want to do one final thing, man. I do want to hear from you what you think the Buckeyes need to do, both offensively and defensively, in this game for Tennessee. And then when you wrap up, give us your score prediction for the game, if you want to. If you don't do the score prediction thing, we ain't worried about it.
Offensively, they just have to do what they do, man. Use the weapons that you have and get the ball to your playmakers. I think it's that simple. You don't overcomplicate it. I think that's when you start seeing uncharacteristic stuff, like, almost like they're, like forcing something that they don't even, believe in. Just do what you do, play Ohio State football, and you dictate the game. And I would say that on both sides. You dictate the game and not let Tennessee dictate that. Let them have to figure you out. And just throw, different variations, defensively, coverages, stunts up front, like making a move, not being where they're supposed to be, because they're going to attack all the tendencies that, they saw in the losses, and they're going to bring that same approach. Now, if we come with the changes that we know will be successful, I think I can't guess the score. I don't know. Don't do that. But it'll be we'll win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, gotcha.
No doubt.
I love that prediction. My question, I have a short question for you.
Hold on, Melo. Let me do this. I just got to say this. We got to let your wife know, man. You got somebody in the chat saying that you're amazing and that you're hot. Her name's Juliet. We don't know who that is.
Yeah. Hook me up with her.
Dude wants your number.
She said, "Can she get your number?" We might want to take you out sometime.
Yeah.
But I had a question. Riley's is he going to be an early enrollee?
Riley will be there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
was coming.
That's cool, bro.
We might have to sneak him into one of these games,
bro. Hopefully he can start practicing with him. He can. Hopefully he can start practicing with him, because he can. If he gets there, we're still in it, man. He can get on there and practice. David Sanders been practicing with Tennessee, so for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How's he practice with Tennessee?
He already enrolled.
He enrolled already. I don't know.
He goes to a private school.
But are they in is Tennessee in trimesters?
I don't know.
He's on the field practicing with them. We know that. I saw pictures of it. So yeah.
I guess if he graduated, he can. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because he goes to a private school,
and he didn't.
His campus is crazy. It looks like a college campus. I went there for his commitment ceremony because I was in the area for a soccer tournament. I was the only Buckeye in there, and all the 16-year-olds were cursing me out. I swear to you, I'm not even joking. As I was walking out, I was sweating bullets because they were like just pointing at me and cursing at me. Seriously, I was like, Tennessee ain't never won anything, and we going natty season. Now we about to play them, so we got to represent.
Well, hey, Duke, we're gonna reach out to a couple parents we know, see if they're interested in getting on here, man, with you and talking some football, some nil, some transfer, whatever it is y'all want to talk about, man. We'll see how that. Yeah. We definitely will, man. But we appreciate you coming on, man, for sure. We got to get Riley back on here. Hopefully, maybe one of his breaks from practicing and getting in there. We'll get him back on here, man. It'd be great to hear from him and hear his experience and what he's going through, man. So it'd be nice to follow.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed this, man.
This was a blast.
Yeah. It was fun, man, for sure. But any final words, Melo?
No, I think Buck Vader said to check your email.
I will.
Thanks for coming on, man. We had an awesome time. You definitely taught us a lot. You let us fire off at the hip with questions, and you answered them thoroughly. I appreciate it because you definitely increased my knowledge, because these were burning questions me and Dev have been having the whole season. And I know we were supposed to talk about Tennessee, but while we had you on here, we had to ask you. Yeah, no, it's good. No, I love sharing that because, being in the stands, hearing, parents frustrated and, why my kid, and knowing, having this, I can be like, hey, it's probably because of this, and I can also see that your kid's not, quite where, you think, I can slide that in there too. And no, just like the sharing it, and because I get it. Everybody wants to see their kid on the field, but it's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that we know, we don't know, or, most fans don't know that, factor into, what you're seeing. So just, being able to share that. So yeah, I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, anytime, man. We'll definitely have you on again. But listen up, Buckeye Nation, BVZ Mafia. Tomorrow, dude, we got a real big show, man. We got We got, I don't know if you guys have been following on X, but there is, and I'm not good with names, so please forgive me if somebody in the chat knows the names. There's a Tennessee fan that is helping out, a young Buckeye, I believe his name is Clark, going through some stuff in life. So he's taking up donations for him and stuff. We're going to have them on the show tomorrow, man. We're going to have the young boy's father on the show to share his story and everything they're going through. We're also going to have that Tennessee fan on that's doing it. And dude, Tony and Sean got a heck of a show planned for y'all tomorrow. There's going to be a super chat, like a lottery type deal. All the super chats, all the proceeds of the show, they will go directly into that fund to help Clark out here at Buckeye Boys. We love supporting good causes, and this is one of those causes that's worth supporting. But if you super chat, your name goes into a drawing, and Sean and Tony and Buckeye Boys here got together some gifts, some memorabilia and some different things that we'll do a drawing and give away at the end of the show. So, man, if we could gather everybody that you know, right? Doesn't have to be a Buckeye fan, man. If they got a phone, if they got a laptop, if they got a computer, get them on tomorrow, man. Getting on here at 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Is it 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock tomorrow, man. Get on here, dude. Let's support this young kid is going through a lot in life, man. So let's show him what being a Buckeye really means, man. Let's show him that Buckeye love, dude. And we'll hope to see you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit up the website. Look for shirts, man. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you watching. Chat, you know we love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us, man. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
IO.